Hey everybody, I'm behind on my videos a little bit because my work's actually been working, but I want to talk about this real quick with the little bit of knowledge and research I have in my head already about the topic. And the topic has been going back and forth, and this is between, because I don't see this in the white spaces. I also don't have much access to the white spaces on this, so I'm only talking as far as the black spaces regarding trans women, women who were assigned male at birth and now their gender is woman. And the term now being used, whether it is scientific or not, cis women, women assigned female at birth and who are women, right? Did I explain that properly? I think I did. I don't like to use the excuse that I don't know and I'm learning. I'm an ally. I've always been an ally. I already know. Now, the terms do change every 75 minutes, so I try to keep up. But as far as this, I think I got all my knowledge down pat. So we're talking about biological women, women who were born women, born female, identify as women, and men, trans women who were assigned male at birth and now live lives as women. So Jess Hilarious is a content creator, entertainer. She's been hosting on The Breakfast Club. She responded to a comment made by a trans woman that said women or females don't own periods. It's not ours, yada, yada, yada. There was a lot of back and forth, and somehow T.S. Madison got pulled into it. If you don't know, TS stands for Transsexual Madison. T.S. Madison is a trans woman, ex-porn star, now celebrity, Grammy winner, like all-around entertainer. I am a huge, huge, huge fan of T.S. Madison. She does boast and brag, but I love all of it. All of it. I love it. So anyway, somehow her and Just Hilarious, who I'm okay with, I'm indifferent about. Sometimes she's funny. I like her little skits and stuff like that. She has a very deep masculine voice. I'm okay with her. No issues as far as her or whatever she says. She's been canceled a few times. One of the big last times was like some Sikhs or Arabs, I'm not sure, got on a plane and she was freaked out about it. Fine, whatever. She apologized for that. Move on. Anywho, that was a while ago. But anyway, and a lot of it is ignorance. She's from like the ghetto and learning. You know what I'm saying? That's like old people who still want to say Oriental. Like we have to unlearn these things which are now deemed wrong. Anywho, the topic was that, and somehow Just Hilarious and T.S. Madison got into it. Now T.S. Madison is out of the country. She is in Spain. And I'm saying she because her pronouns are she and her, even though she has a penis and was a male at birth. She. So she's out of the country and on a cruise I really wanted to go on, but I don't know anybody who's a fag hag like me, and I didn't want to go by myself. Anyway, if you like the gays and the trans and all that, and you want to go on the next T.S. Madison thing and throw down a couple $1,000, let me know. We could share a room. Anywho, so the term cis came up. Now, in my bio, I do explain myself as a cis het woman. I do that for the masses, right? That is what I would be considered as far as the masses now. Do I like the word cis when being described my gender? I do not. Do I mind if you call me that? No. Do I prefer you not call me that? Yes. Would I correct you and tell you, please don't call me cis? No. And I'm not cis like cis girl, cis SCIS. I understand if you are going against, if you are going against what was assigned to you at birth, your genitalia, if you were born with a penis and you now want to present with the aesthetic and the being and the social construct that is deemed for womanhood, if you want to do that and to be called a woman, that's fine. But why, and this is for argument's sake, you want to be called a woman. I am a woman, right? But now me, born with a female, presenting with all of the aesthetic and everything that belongs in our society to someone born with a vagina, I now have to be a cis woman when you are just a woman. You get to be called a woman because trans now is kind of derogatory, or tranny is derogatory. You get to be called a woman. I now have to be called a cis woman. Now, the argument is, well, cis is a scientific term and there should be nothing wrong with it. Well, you know what's still a scientific term? I'm going to play devil's advocate. Retarded. I have a degree in psychology. Retarded is a scientific word still in the DSM-4. I'm not sure if it is in the DSM-5. I haven't studied the DSM-5, but when I was going to school, it was the DSM-4. The medical term was retarded. Your diagnosis was mental retardation. We don't go around saying that anymore, do we? You know what also was a scientific term? Midget. We don't go around calling people midgets. That's bad. We call them little people or little person. We don't say midget. We don't say retarded. Those are scientific terms. So is cis. Now, I don't know if cis has the history or the oppression that is associated with midget and retardation, because that's why there's slurs now, because of the history. But they are scientific terms that we, as to be politically correct, don't go around and saying your kid is retarded. You might say he's autistic. He has an intellectual disability. He has whatever. We don't say retarded. And we say this is a little person. The TV show, which I was very fond of, rest in peace. What's her name? My little favorite black one. She passed away in a car accident. Miss Juicy, I think. It was Little Women of LA, Little Women of Atlanta. It was Little Women. Little Women. So those are scientific terms. That's my argument. Now, I feel like respect is a two-way street. It is a two-way street, respect. You don't want to be called tranny. You don't want to be called male. Your pronouns are different than society says it is. We give you that respect. We don't want to be called cis. Why is that so hard to do? Why do we have to be called cis, but you get to be called a woman? That's it. Now, if you call me cis, it's going to still stay, and it's still going to stay in my bio. If you're going to call me a cis woman, I'm not going to correct you. I'm not going to tell you, please call me a woman. I'm not going to do that, because my dog in the fight is zero. Zero. I am very comfortable and okay with who I am. I'm not going to correct you. If that is the terminology that you want to give to me, I'm okay with that. If you're in my presence or not in my presence. And I'm also, if I corrected you and you still did it, then we have a problem. But I'm not going to correct you. It doesn't bother me that much. But I understand wholeheartedly how it bothers some people. There is a struggle, and I'm going to use that word. There is a struggle with having a vagina. And a lot of people say, oh, well, being a woman is not all about periods. There's a lot of women who don't have periods. There's a lot of women who don't have uteruses. There's a lot of women who can't have kids. You know what those problems are associated with? Being a female. Those are not male problems. Whether or not a female woman doesn't have a period, doesn't have a uterus, can't give birth, infertile, all of those things are issues associated with being female. So that argument is thrown out the water. Oh, you're a woman because you can have babies. Not all women can have babies. That's true. But women and females who cannot have babies have issues that are only exclusive to having a vagina, a vulva, a uterus, whatever you want to call it. Those are not male problems. A female, whether she is a trans man or not, is in danger of having female ailments. ovarian cancer, cervical cancer, uterine cancer, infertility, having a period. You could take hormones to stop your period, but watch the memes going on of the trans men who forget to take their testosterone shots and how aggressive that period comes back. Those are female problems. A trans woman will never have cervical cancer, will never have ovarian cancer, will never have PCOS. Now, breast cancer, that affects both of us. Breast cancer is not for women, because I know you're like, females get breast cancer, so do males. I worked with a gentleman who had breast cancer twice, and I think the actor that played Wolverine had breast cancer as well. So breast cancer, if you have breast tissue, you have breast meat, and that is male and women, you could get breast cancer. But only females, women with vulvas, have uteruses. Now, we're not talking about the hermaphrodites. Those are outliers. Stop it. We're talking about the masses. I get it. You don't want to be called cis? Fine. You correct somebody who's calling you cis? Fine. They should respect that. Just like if I spoke to a trans woman and kept using the pronouns he and him while addressing them, and they respectfully said my pronouns are she and her, I go, oh, I'm sorry. And I will continue. I might have a slip up here and there, but my intentions are pure, because it is, especially, no tea, no shade, especially if you're not looking like a woman. Now, T.S. Madison, is easy to not mistake T.S. as he and him. T.S. looks like a woman. Hips, tits, ass, face. Woman. There's some people starting their journey, and money is a big factor in how well you look and how well you look like a woman. The money matters. If you're just starting out and you don't have the money and you still look like a dude, it is what it is. You still look like a man. I might slip up, but I'm going to respect your pronouns. Now, if I correct you and say cis, you also need to do that as well. Two-way street. T.S. Madison is supposed to be coming back into the country. She's been trying to do things here and there as far as comment, but I think she was in Ibiza, which is in Spain. So I'm curious to see what it's about. I'm also a little disappointed in Just Hilarious, and not so much. A little bit disappointed, because when she did her retort on what that one trans person said, she sprayed pretty much the trans people. She sprayed them instead of just directing it at the one person. But I get it. I get it, because it's not just this one person that feels, this one trans woman that feels this way. A lot of them do. And I don't see this kind of argument going on with bio men, cis men, and trans men. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I see it between trans women and cis women, biological women. I don't like to say real women, and that's not to degrade anybody. I don't like the term real women. I don't like it. Even if it wasn't a trans conversation, I don't like the term real woman. I don't. Because that then tells me that there's something as fake women. And while I don't believe gender is a social construct, I believe gender is what your sexual organ is. I think it's mutually exclusive than how you present yourself and how you want to live. I do. Because we change so much in society as far as what's deemed masculine and what's deemed feminine. Back in the day when my mother was born and you had a boy, you dressed him in pink. Now, when you have a girl, you dress them in blue. When I was going to school, the boys' pants were so goddamn baggy, damn near falling off. The boy would have a 23-inch waist and size 40 pants. The bigger, the better. A couple years ago, them Jamaican joggers, skinny jeans, I could see your pulse in those pants. Men were jumping up and down, straight men. were jumping up and down to put on pants. Nail polish was deemed for women. Now you have straight men wearing nail polish, getting liposuction. So I don't believe that there's a term called real or fake. I think it changes with the times. You have the androgynous type people, the princes with the perms and the Al Sharpton with the perms. So I don't believe there's a term called real women. There's biological women or female, male. But it seems like the women, whatever type of woman you are, the argument seems to be solely on them. And from my lack of exposure, it seems to be a black thing. It seems to be a black thing. So yeah. And I wonder if it has to do with the female woman experience of competing for men. That's where it is. It's like the crabs in the barrel mentality that these trans women and these cis women somehow are competing for the same pool of men. And I don't think that's true. There's no way that women like me and women like T.S. Madison are competing. Now, we might fuck the same man, but competing as far as relationship and building lives, I don't think we're going, we're competing for the same type of, man. You have a man that fully heterosexual who won't deal with a person with a penis, whether they look like a woman or not. And then you have a man that would only deal with somebody with a penis. And then you have the in-betweens. I'll fuck them both. I don't think we're competing for the same type of man. Truth be told, a lot of women are uncomfortable with bisexual men. I'm not. I don't think I've ever been with a bisexual man. I don't think they would tell me. Especially back in the day when I was dating. Now people are more open, but back in the day, bisexual men won't come out. I think I knew of one. But they're not really open like that. So yeah, I think it's the fake, we're competing with the same type of man bullshit. But we're not competing for men. But let me know your thoughts. If you do have access to the white trans community, is this something going on? Is this a thing between white cis women and white trans women? I don't have much access to it, but I don't think it is. All right.